satisfying because he fucking won't shut up about this post-Marxist bullshit.
Yeah.
He uses it as this specter, this boogie ghost,
just, like,
to
pretty
describe
funny.
every fucking thing.
It's pretty funny because, like, college, in and of itself, in you know, bourgeois capitalist nations like the United States of America, is an institution that reinforces the dominant neoliberal hegemonic attitude. Yes, they are socially, in many instances, a lot of the well-educated people in college campuses are socially progressive to a certain degree, but the idea that, like, you know, college campuses are dominated
no
by
Marxist
Marxists is
movement in this
fucking
country.
insane. Like, it's
there is no Marxist movie.
if you've ever taken an econ course, in any American institution, Econ 101 and 102 is basically completely shut off, gated from any kind of Marxian economics. The furthest, I guess, left you can go is Keynesian economics. It's still neoclassical and capitalist economics. That is like the furthest, the furthest, like, supposedly the closest you can get to Marxism, which is not even Marxism. It's entirely different than that. So
let's see what Jordan says. I'm curious. Yeah, let's see if he has a response here. Jordan's like, he's in his oh shit posture too. He's all, this guy's, look at the dude, alpha posture, beta posture, red pilled.
It just also looked like he was frivolously Googling on his computer every time he
he's in front of his laptop.
Political correctness. I think they fear like a good vampire fears garlic. And this is why they are already the one who is not a Marxist, but at least approaches economic topic, Bernie Sanders. He's already under attack as white male and all that stuff and so on. My problem would be with this one. What you describe as postmodern neo-Marxism, where is really the Marxist element in it? They are for equality. Sorry, where? They are for equality at these cultural struggles, proper names, how do we call each other? Do you see in them, in political correctness and so on, any genuine will to change society? I don't see. I think it's a hyper-moralization, which is a silent admission of a defeat.
Let's see it.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
my problem.
Wait, pause for
Why
a second
do
though,
you
because
call-
he's spitting right now. Okay, so listen. Now, the reason why I say this is because, like, Zizek obviously, I mean, he is a young Hegelian, but he himself has a worldview that is also what I would consider, like, mainstream liberal attitudes would consider Zizek to also be like an anti-SJW to a certain respect, and he recognizes that a lot of these, like, cultural movements, a lot of these social movements are not actually they don't actually revolve around changing the underlying material realities of the marginalized people it supposedly speaks for, and is simply just like a distraction, or rather, in many respects, just like a way to, like, feel a little bit better about yourself by, like, trying to redefine or sanitize culture. It's ultimately powerless. So that's the reason why he's, like, able to own him, because he can correctly expose the underlying attitude, the underlying fear that we all have, the fear of powerlessness in the face of structural change, and why we engage in, like, acts of I don't know, witch hunting or whatever the fuck or like getting your favorite TV show to change, like, the cast or something. It's bullshit.
Let's see what Jordan has to say.
Give me, no, it's not a rhetorical question for politely saying you are an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. It's simply, I would
Dude,
like to know.
you're being outclassed
because you-
intellectually, bro. You look
and
like
I
an ant
this
right now.
often. When you attack somebody, you said aggressively, and what should? Read more. Tell me whom. So I'm asking you now, not read more. I don't advise you. But who are? Give me some names and so on. And who are these postmodern, egalitarian, neo-Marxist? And where do you see any kind even of Marxism? I see in it mostly an impotent, an utterly impotent moralization. Please, I'm so sorry that I was
No, that's no
long,
problem.
please.
Well, I mean,
Dude, shaking.
organization like
Look at his hands. He's shaking beta ass.
Yeah, no, he's getting on. Wait,
Fidgeting
I
at
want
the
to see what he
top.
says. I forgot
Jonathan
this.
Heights. what's it called? Heterodox Academy and other organizations like that have documented an absolute dearth of conservative voices in the social sciences and the humanities, and about 25%, according to the what I think are reliable surveys, approximately 25% of social scientists in the U.S. identify themselves as Marxists. And so there's that.
But where are the
Well,
results?
okay,
but like that's
Wait, hold on.
that's an
don't
admission of
see-
defeat. Okay?
What is he talking about?
If your entire argument revolves around like, well, 25% of college professors self-identify as Marxists, like, yeah, dude, 25%. Like, even then, you're like fucking losing your mind, making it seem like this is a.
It's literally all he talks about is neo-Marxism.
Yeah.
Like, he will not shut the fuck up. I want to see this. I want to see this.
Well, yeah, your question seemed to me to focus more on the peculiar relationship that I've noticed and that people have disputed between postmodernism and neo-Marxism. And I see the connection between the postmodernist types and the Marxists as a sleight of hand that replaced the notion of the oppression of the proletariat by the bourgeoisie as the oppression by one identity group by another.
Totally agree with
Okay,
you.
so so now look.
Oh, what did he say?
He's saying that.
No, what did he say literally, this guy? In
I'm
response?
going to describe it to you.
No, but I just want to know literally what he said.
He said that he's doing the same thing that like conceptual James does, basically saying that.
No,
CRT,
what
critical-
were the words he said?
What do you ask?
Wait,
Okay,
just
wait.
play it, just play
No,
it
he
again.
said something. I didn't hear because people were cheering. Here, I got auto caption on.
By one identity group by another.
Totally agree with you.
Okay, so but
That, what did he say?
He said totally agree with you.
Oh, okay.
Zizek said totally agree with you.
Okay.
But what he's basically describing is that like they took Marxist theory and the underlying like the class element, remove the class element from Marxist theory, and now use it for like other kinds of like critical race theories. For example, this is actually a little bit ahead of the curve on like what the Republican Party does now with like critical race theory. They basically say this exact same thing still to this day, where they're saying like, oh, it's actually Marxist and bad, but they are substituting like the oppression of the proletariat and the working class by the capital-owning bourgeois class to the oppression of one identity against another. It's misattributed, it's false, but ultimately it kind of is a self-defeating point, which is that they're not Marxist. So you're wrong. That's why Slavo says, I agree with you.
Right.
Because they're not
Well,
Marxist.
let's
That's
see.
not.
Let's see.
but so now look. We could
But
have
that's precisely
we could-
a non-Marxist gesture par excellence.
well, that's the see. I guess that's where we might have a dispute, because I think what happened, especially in France in the 1960s, is as the radical Marxist postmodern types like Derrida and Foucault realized that they were losing the moral battle, especially after the information came out of the Soviet Union in the manner that it came out. That the
Solzhenitsyn and so on.
Yeah, that the whole bloody Stalinist the whole Stalinist catastrophe, along with the entire Maoist catastrophe, but they didn't really have a leg to stand on. And instead of
Literally,
revising the
fundamentally
notion that
false.
human history, and this is a Marxist notion, should be regarded as the eternal class struggle between the economically deprived and the oppressors, they just recast it and said, well, it's not based on economics, it's based on identity, but it's still fundamentally oppressor against oppressed. And to me, that meant that they smuggled the fundamental narrative of Marxism and many of its goals back into the argument without ever admitting that they did so. Now, I've been criticized, for this supposition, because people who are postmodernists say, look, one of the hallmarks of postmodernism is skepticism of meta-narratives. It's like, I know that perfectly well. And I also know that Marxism is a meta-narrative. And so you should be able to be a
Jordan Peterson also
postmodernist
skeptical of
and be
meta-narratives.
Marxist. But I still see the union of those two things in the insistence that the appropriate way to look at the world is to view
Oh,
it
it's
as
just
a
him talking through this
battleground
video.
between
All right, shut up, Jordan.
I mean, he describes the inherent contradiction between Marxism and postmodernism.
Well,
in there, right?
basically, it has nothing to do with Marxism.
Yeah, but that's it. They just, because they're relying on a century of Red Scare propaganda to just basically say, well, that's socialist. That's Marxist.
Anyone
that's
who
why
cares
it's bad.
about social issues is a communist.
Which, I mean, I don't have a problem with that yet. Go ahead. It's true.
Okay, shout out to the king, Zizek. Hassan, no comment?
Pervert's Guide to Ideology is something that you could watch
Sniper down.
quickly and easily. One of his documentaries, one of his movies called Pervert's Guide to Ideology.
You're not going to comment on that?
I mean, he just looks great.
Okay.
I don't know what to say. He's
Just wanted
thriving.
you to acknowledge what was on the screen.
Zizek is also from. Zizek comes from a long line of unkempt and disheveled philosophers with sexy girlfriends.
Oh, really? Does he
Yeah.
have a slamming girlfriend?
He is a beautiful wife.
Pull that up. Pull that up.
I mean,
He's got intellectual. There you go. Red pills eat your heart out. He's the fucking enemy of all red pills. They think that they have to be a perfect male specimen, and Zizek's pulling it. Okay. Oh my God. What's up, Blair? Oh yeah, beautiful.
yeah.
And look at him, man. That guy's a fucking.
The lion, the Slovenian lion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kind of suave though. Back in the day, he kind of looked like a. What was that French actor that all the soccer moms love back in the day?
Oh.
Pardieu.
Luc. No, not Luc Besson, but he's in Luc Besson. Gerard Depardieu.
Yeah.
Every French
He has
actor
a, he has
looks
a
like
Gerard
shit. It's like kinda
Luc
what they're
Gerard
famous
Pardieu
for. Yeah.
vibe. Hey, I got a question for you. Tim Pool. What happens if a woman is on the way to get an abortion at 8 months, but goes into labor in the lobby of the abortion clinic and accidentally delivers the baby before it could be terminated?
Hell yeah. I love.
Obviously, you kill the baby, you throw the baby in the incinerator.
Yeah. Well, that has happened. I
That's
think
what happens
They
in
literally,
liberal.
they actually did not terminate the baby in that situation. That has happened one time, I believe. But like, again, these.
Not at 8 months.
No, I mean, it happens. Premature births are like common occurrence for sure.
But people don't get abortions at 8 months unless it's like life birth.
Exactly. That's precisely what I was going to say. In most circumstances, and this is a really disgusting thing that conservatives do, is like 93% of abortions are happening in the first trimester. Okay, 93%. 6% of abortions happen in the second trimester, oftentimes because like people don't know that they're pregnant as a consequence of not being able to get adequate reproductive health care services. So thank you, Republicans, for that. And only 1% of terminations, only 1% of abortions happen in the third trimester. Now, that is an incredibly low percentage, obviously, in the grand scheme of things, but that's all these fucking dinguses talk about. They can't shut the fuck up about third trimester abortion because they're like basically trying to say like the fetus has viability outside the body, and they're trying to liken abortion to a murder as best as possible. They're trying to liken a fetus into a baby as best as possible. That's why they use this argument. Now, what's really horrifying about this is, as you correctly pointed out, third trimester abortions in nearly every single one is done through medical consultation, and it's done to women that wanted to carry that pregnancy to term.
Oh,
no one
horrible,
is fucking carrying
horrible.
a baby inside of them for 8 fucking months, a fetus inside of them for
Can
8
you
months until it
imagine
turns
how
into like a...
traumatic that would be to
Yes.
have to get rid of your nearly born child? That's just that's
Yes.
traumatic, man.
So that's precisely why I think it's disgusting, because they're like shamelessly using that as like the main hypothetical, the main example, and it's just really fucking stupid.
Yeah, the supposition that there's women out there who are just willing to they're like, you know what, at 8 months, I don't want this baby, take it out and kill it. Nobody does that, and it's kind of a self-report on, you really think women are out there that evil, bro? And nobody does that, and isn't it illegal to do that at 8 months? I don't think it's illegal.
I think it differs state by state. Some states offer full autonomy to the carrier, which is, you know, an understandable legal boundary to set, specifically because you don't want to stop the actual women that need to get this, to get this termination done, this abortion done for medical reasons, because, you know, you want to doctors are not in the business of like forcing women to carry pregnancies to term and have them die as a consequence of that, even when there's no viability for the fetus.
When I say illegal, I mean, you know, I'm just saying with not like an elective surgery. Be like, I don't want the baby, it's 8 months.
Yeah.
don't
In that
think you
situation, I
can do
think
that.
like they can. I mean, like I said, it differs state by state, but in
Can you
nearly
get an
all,
8th month abortion in any state, just elective?
no.
Without
No,
it-
most states do not.
Without like a medical emergency, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No,
just
you
wanna
have-
make that
you
very
need, like,
clear,
you
'cause
need
they-
medical
like,
consultation.
That's a fallacy that they say you can just willy-nilly. One of the talking was like, you can go get a abortion the day before you give birth.
Or they say they always use Ralph Northam, famously a doctor who either did blackface or wore KKK robes. We still don't know to this day which one he was. Governor of Virginia back in the day, Democrat. He was on a talk show where he was basically talking about the medical procedure of the incredibly rare process in which like you have a stillbirth. Like forced induced
Is that where they
pregnancy, where they have to, basically terminate the child even after the birth has like taken place, like a forced birth has taken place, and it's a brutal medical process, right? It's horrifying. But you know what else is horrifying? Open heart surgery, dumbass. So if someone is like a medical professional is describing open heart surgery, you're gonna be like, oh, that's gross. Let's not do that. Yeah, obviously, when you have people describe medical procedures, it's going to sound, especially in your Luddite mind, it's going to sound gross and scary. Okay, but that's what this is. It is a medical procedure. This intervention is a necessity. Even in the super extreme, like once in a lifetime example that Northam was using, that is like misattributed and bastardized, where they say like Democrats want to kill babies after they're born, is done to like serious terminal illness to the fetus, like that won't survive post birth, like will not survive for like more than fucking 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's an incredibly traumatic process.
So
because
that's what
it's a
I've-
wanted pregnancy.
I've seen graphs of that where they're like, it looks horrific and it's scary as hell. Where they like go in and they have to like cut the baby and take pieces out of it and shit and like remove it piece by piece. But that's not what every abortion is.
Yeah. It's so gross. They try to make it like, I watched that YouTuber family, the TikTok
LeBrant.
dude with like, yeah.
The LeBrons, they're fucking disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, that lady should stop.
But you know about, I don't know if
say
you know
this a
about
lot,
the LeBrant family, but they faked their kid having cancer for views. Did you know
Yeah,
that?
I fucking more power to them on that front, but like they should stop having children. Oh my gosh, she has like 11 children, dude. What are you doing?
Do they really?
At a certain
Or
point,
maybe
I
I'm
don't-
thinking of different people.
they have a lot of no, the blonde. They have
They
like,
have-
I mean, I'm joking, I'm exaggerating, but I think she's like
I thought
pregnant.
they only had like 2.
I thought they have like 6.
The LeBrants.
How many children do the LeBrants
Oh
have?
no, they've got 3 kids and the 4th on the way.
And the 4th on the way. Yeah, you gotta stop.
Stop it.
It's not Pringles, lady. You can stop yourself.
They do look like a can of Pringles though, don't they?
I mean, it's just wild to me that like if you want to have as many children as possible because they're like little content
They're
nuggets
religious.
for you.
They love that multiplying shit.
Yeah. And it's also great content for them. Like she has an addiction. She has a
For sure.
breeding kink.
Once they, yeah, for sure. Yeah, you.
More power to you, but like also stop, please. You've had too many children.
We only have like 10 minutes left, so
More like 5.
to be hitting on the Elon thing.
We can talk about it.
Just
I mean, it's not much.
in the
There's not
title.
much you can do when you spawn and get
Where do we
sniped
start with
1 second
Elon?
after starting.
He obviously is backing out of the Twitter deal, like we all predicted. I have to say, I'm impressed that he was able to get out of the deal without pissing people off. He made it all Twitter's fault, which was a stroke of genius, I have to say. He basically was like, Twitter's been lying about how many bots there are, and therefore I'm putting the deal on Twitter. He's not going to do it. It's almost the dumbest thing for him to buy Twitter.
So there is 2 different schools of thought here. Like one, first of all, there's a termination fee. You can't just
$1 billion,
publicly
but that's
state.
nothing. Who cares?
That's a good amount of money. It's a good amount of free money for Twitter.
I think he, in my opinion, no, it's great
Come
for
on.
Twitter.
Come on,
Yeah.
Mikes.
But for Elon, I mean,
Wanna
we
hear this?
theorized that from the beginning he expected just to part with that money for whatever coverage and
He was
bullshit
talking
he's
about
been
we suck.
getting.
He didn't help us at all.
Uh,
He didn't help us at all.
I think the reason why it came out.
I don't know.
Okay, one thing I'll say about the Twitter thing is that like it was an incredibly like mind-bogglingly stupid thing to try and do.
Yeah.
And I think he was doing it for like short-term marketing benefits potentially.
Yes.
But he does use Twitter as a way to boost his stock prices. Tesla stock is like incredibly overvalued regardless, right? And it's slated to continue being that way because it's treated as a tech company, so it has like this major multiplier. And he uses Twitter a lot to change the dynamic or to like become newsworthy or to even like reveal his like new inventions that he's never gonna